everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Pulse Social's weekly podcast. Today we have a very special guest speaker who knows a thing or two about dieting, and he's here to share his personal experiences with us today. Enjoy and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Morning, Alvin. Thank you for joining us today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning, Gabriel. For you guys listening, I'm Alvin. I'm currently 24 years old. I live in Indonesia, and I own a couple of restaurants and hotels as well here in Indonesia.
Okay, so before we talk about the different dieting regimes you've experienced and tried, we can start by discussing why you decided to go on a diet in the first place.
Yes, for sure. I think that's a very important question to ask yourself when you're trying different dieting types. People usually associate dieting with losing weight, but there's a lot of reasons why people can go on diet. You can either have too much fat content in your body, or you're trying to gain more nutrition, or you're trying to decrease a certain type of food that you're allergic to or you have bad reactions to. For me, I was in a very, let's say, unhealthy spot in my life. During that time, I had gained a lot of weight. My body mass index was off the charts, and it wasn't just about the weight. It wasn't just about the appearance of my body and myself. It was most importantly for me the feeling of your body when you get up, how fresh you are, how mentally sharp you were. I felt like I had been in a better place before, and at that time I decided to start and exploring different dieting regimes to help my body get into a better state, a healthier state, a state where I could perform better physically and was mentally sharper.
That's very interesting. How important do you think research is before going on different diet regimes? And do you have any tips on what to research?
It's very important. I think researching the different types of diets and what works for you and what not is very, very important, because every one of us, we have our bodies and they react differently to different activities, to different sports, to different dieting, nutritions, and everything that goes with it. So it is very important. For example, for me, I'm actually allergic to dairy. Not in a sense where I cannot consume dairy, but I am allergic to dairy in a level. So, first say I couldn't go on a diet that requires me to consume lots of dairy products. So there are things to consider when trying to do those dieting regimes, especially considering activities. Some of you work from 9 to 5. Some of you work from 5 to 10 in the afternoon, especially for students and part-time workers. So you have to consider that. So my suggestion is that when you do research, you get through the different types, you compare them, take down notes, and see what works for you. Say, like intermittent fasting. That would require you to not consume any type of food during the day, mostly during the day, that's up to you, but for a certain period of time, which, let's say you have a 9 to 5, might not work for you because you might have very little energy to supply your body with when you're trying to work or trying to think. So that's not good, right? So, you have to do the research according to your body, according to your activities, according to your physical needs, your nutritional needs, and whatever it is, that might affect the dieting.
I see. Oh, I heard that you mentioned about intermittent fasting. Have you tried that before? And could you tell me more about your diet journey?
Yes, actually I have. Have you ever heard? Do you know what intermittent fasting is?
Yes, I do. I think it's the one where you fast for 14 hours, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that depends on you. Intermittent fasting essentially is an eating pattern. It's not actually considered. It is considered as diet most generally, but it's more of an eating pattern where there's cycles between where you eat and when you fast. So it requires you to. It doesn't specifically tell you what food to eat. It's just tell you when to eat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but have you ever tried it?
Yes, actually. I do actually do it cyclically. So every now and then, for a week or two, or maybe sometimes even a month, I do practice intermittent fasting. The hours, that depends actually on what I do each day, but mostly they range between 16 to 18 hours of fasting, and then you eat for the rest of the, yeah.
Was it a struggle though?
Yes, at first. You get used to it over time. I guess when you do these types of fast, any type of fast, it will be a struggle. During for the Muslims or even Christians, or even any religion, actually, they practice spiritual fasting, and obviously, it's meant to have a mental and physical effect on you. That's why it's called devotion. But over time, you'll get used to it.
How long did it take for you to get used to it?
I'd say first 2-3 weeks when I first started the fasting. Sorry, that was a struggle. I cheated every other day or so. I tried eating earlier or having snacks in between. But after a couple of weeks, I'd say it got better.
But do you think it's a sustainable diet?
Yes, for me. See, again, we go back to the point that it differs from person to person. I've been on this diet cyclically, though, not constantly, for almost 2 years now. I think 2-3 years. Yeah, so it depends. It depends. When your body gets used to it. At a certain point for me, it was like, this is my eating pattern now. This is my eating habit now. I try to go back to a normal eating habit, and it doesn't work for my body anymore. I feel full. I feel slower. When trying to move and everything. Actually, it works for me. And when I'm doing this type of fast, this type of diet, actually gets my mind sharper. So, yeah.
Do you have any other diets that you've tried?
Aside from intermittent fasting, I've tried keto as well.
What was it like?
You know what a ketogenic diet is?
No, I'm not really familiar with it. And I've never tried it before.
Okay, so it focuses mainly on a low carb and high fat diet intake. So with ketogenic, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to get your body in a metabolic state called ketosis.
But a lot of people would consider eating more fat would cause weight gain. What do you think about it?
Yes, I think that's a common misconception with ketogenic diet. So the difference, so essentially ketogenic diet is a lot similar like Atkins and low carb diets. But the difference is the thing that I said before. You're trying to get your body into the ketosis state. So the ketosis state helps your body to become incredibly efficient at burning fat for energy. So when you're trying to exercise, when you're trying to walk, you burn calories, you burn energy from your body. So when you're in a metabolic state called ketosis, your body automatically takes fat as the energy source.
How did you feel like physically and mentally with the
Great.
keto diet?
Actually, so the thing with keto diet is that at first it would feel kind of heavy because what I did was I love to eat bacon. Bacon is a very high fat source of food. So I tried replacing. I'm from Indonesia, where we eat a lot of carbs, noodles, rice, and all that. So I tried replacing them with bacon, with sugars, and all that, which at first made it feel very, very, very heavy. That feeling when you've just woken up from a big, big dinner.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But after that ketosis state was reached, it actually helped in trying to make my body feel fresher, lighter. You could feel that even with the low carb intake, your body has a source of energy.
But how would you know, like, you're in that ketosis state?
Actually, you could take urine samples, I think, or breath samples, I forgot, to determine whether you've entered ketosis. But for me, I didn't do that. I'm not overly eager in trying to find out at that point. But what I did was, so with the low carb intake, your body would feel heavier due to the fat. But at the same time, you'd have less energy because you haven't yet reached that ketosis state. So after 2 weeks, as I remember, it's been a pretty long time, but after 2 weeks, I started to gain more energy, even with the low carb intake, even with the lower carb intake. So I decreased my carb intake gradually. Even with that, it became easier for me to exercise, became lighter for me when I woke up in the morning or when I just had my dinner. So I think at that point, I knew the diet was working.
That's good for you. Mentioned you exercised during these diets. Which was harder, during keto or intermittent fasting?
I think both of them was a struggle for sure, yeah. But, it was only a struggle at first. For both of them, there was very, very low energy during the exercises at first. But for keto, it was I would say more difficult, but it was heavier for sure, because even though you're not, you have a lower carb intake, but the high fat content and the fact that you haven't reached that ketosis state is holding you back. It's just kind of like a weight holding you down. Your body feels heavier. You have lower energy. So yeah, I'd say at first it was keto, and then after you've reached ketosis, I would say it's intermittent, because with intermittent, I tend to try to exercise before I break my fast. So when I haven't been consuming any food yet, I wake up, let's say 10. And this was during the pandemic, by the way. So during lockdown and everything, you work from home and you had a lot of time to exercise. So say generally I wake up from 9 to 10. I try to exercise at 11, where I say I'd have some sort of energy from the food that I had the night before. And then I try to exercise again before I break my fast during the afternoon.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but you try to balance the exercises. I can't do, I don't know about you, but I can't do too heavy exercises during the same day. So say in the morning I try to jog, or I try to cycle around my neighborhood, and then before I break my fast, I try to go through like HIIT, HIIT, high intensity interval HIIT. Yeah, something like that.
Okay. How did you stay motivated during times where you had low energy? Because for me, I would be so tired and lazy.
I think just at first forcing yourself to do it. When you get into a routine, you tap into that routine. That you wake up, you have to exercise first, then you get on with your day. During intermittent, I try to drink coffee, drink lots of water to help you hydrate and keep your mood up, your energy levels up. And before I break my fast, I try to get myself as not hungry, I would say, but more of an appetite to eat more food. You're trying to balance out the calorie intake and the calorie that goes out of your body, right? So I try to get myself in a mood where I want to eat, where I need to eat. So that's what I did. But don't you think when you exercise, it gets your mood up? It gets you up and going.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to do it in the first place is very hard.
Yeah, I get it. I felt the same way, but not everyone should do this. But the reason I said before why I started to do these diets or tried exploring different types of diets was mainly the motivating factor behind it. Plus, during the intermittent fasting, like I said before, it was during the pandemic, it was in a lockdown, you mentally, you're just not there, and you're just so bored. You're bored out of your mind. So,
yeah, you gotta stay stimulated with the endorphins by working out.
Yeah, you could say, yeah, exactly. So, it was just, something you could do. You not just watch YouTube videos. People did that, I think the Dalgona coffee thing during the pandemic. So people trying to just find things to do, right? For me, it was exercising, and I actually really loved how my body felt after that, and I saw the results coming in weekly during when I tested my weight, tested my body mass index, and it's just a really nice feeling, and your body feels lighter, and at the end of the day, I think I lost about. Not that this should be a success factor, but for me it was because that was the main point. But I lost about almost, I think, 20 kilograms during that lockdown for like 6 to 8 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but some people say, that's, oh, you lost so much weight during a short period of time, it's going to be easy for you to gain it back.
Yeah. Was it?
Not really. Ever since then, to be honest, I've gained weight again. But I think now the focus for me is not trying to reduce the weight. It's just trying to get myself in a better place physically, mentally.
Yeah.
Yes. When you gain weight, it's not. It shouldn't be a factor where you get healthy. You're not doing your bit to get your body fit. No, I don't think so. People have different optimal weights, and those optimal weights also change during their life period. So for me, I think as long as your body feels okay with the weight, your body feels okay when you're trying to exercise, when you're trying to do your work, when you're going about with your daily activities, and you're happy with the food that you eat and the food that you don't eat, I think that should be the main deciding factor on whether you're not.
How's your relationship with food after the keto diet, intermittent fasting?
So the fun thing about intermittent fasting is that since it's an eating pattern instead of diet, you don't really, you don't really eliminate any type of food that you like or that you want. So it's fun, right? You get to. I'm a big fried chicken eater. I love fried chicken, and during keto, fried chicken is actually a high fat food. which is okay. But, you still try to limit the amount of fat you take, right? Because, yeah, there are health concerns when you eat so many fried things. But during intermittent fasting, I didn't really, it's not, I'm not saying this, but I didn't really mind, eating rice, eating noodles, I love noodles as well, pasta and all that. Yeah, so,
Yeah. So all things aside, would you recommend all of this diet to someone else that you know, maybe?
Well, it depends on the person. Again, we go back to everyone reacts to these diets in a different way. You need to have a motivating factor behind why you want to do this kind of stuff. I think that's very important because that's what's going to keep you going. You can't just go one day, I want to go on a diet, I want to lose weight. But why? Why you want to lose weight? Or why you want to go on a diet? I think that's important. So trying to get to a place or trying to reach a certain amount of weight loss maybe should help someone stay motivated during that time. And about the diets, yeah, again, depends on the person. I would recommend someone from my experience, I would recommend someone to do intermittent instead of. You can actually do keto and intermittent at the same time. I think I tried that during that lockdown period I talked about.
Wouldn't it be hard though?
Yeah, I mean, so what I did was that because I did keto first before, I've gotten used to keto and that ketosis state. When I got used to intermittent fasting, I integrated some parts of the keto diet into my nutritional intake. So I was eating less carbs. They have this thing called shirataki rice, which
it's 0 calories.
Yeah, it's zero. It's not 0 calorie rice, but yeah, it's something like that. So that is what that's what I tried to do. Just decrease rice, and I didn't actually increase my fat intake because I thought that I had enough fat intake at that point. But I would say it isn't as efficient for the ketosis to take over during your intermittent. But it works. It works. I think that's one of the reasons why I lost a lot of weight during that period as well.
So, do you have any message for our listeners?
Well, I'm no health expert, so don't take my word for it. But if I were to suggest and recommend anyone during their nutritional diet journey, I would say just stick to what you're comfortable with. Take your body through it a step at a time. Don't force yourself. Everybody reacts differently, and on the way to where you want to be, don't give up easily because the results, they don't come quick. Your body has to adjust. You have to do certain things to get your body to click with the diets, and you just have to stay consistent, and the results will come for sure. If you're doing it right and you're keeping your body fit, you're exercising, you're sleeping well, you're drinking lots of water, it'll definitely come. Just you have to wait, be patient, and stay motivated during that time.
Okay, so thank you, Alvin, for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you as well for our listeners. And that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys next time.